name is Sade Bradford, and welcome to Only a Mountain. So, it's been a while since I've updated my blog, and I thought to myself, what better time to do it than the holiday season? So, usually, or at least from my experience, the holidays are a little bit difficult for young people who have experienced the foster care system. So, I want to give some tips about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart: how to avoid the holiday blues. Right? Sounds kind of silly, but one of the things that I've experienced personally is that we kind of fall into this trap of being kind of sad, kind of lonely, kind of depressed during the holiday seasons. So during my adolescence and during the time, I should say, that I spent in foster care, one of the things I remember is very good memories during the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and all of that good stuff, right? New Year's. But as I went to college and transitioned into early adulthood, I began to spend my holidays alone. That's not a good thing, but we'll get to that in a moment. So again, I want to talk to you today about 4 tips for avoiding the holiday blues. Tip number 1, for those of you all who are thinking about going home, you have to kind of figure out for yourself, what's home or where is home? Do I go to my foster home for the holidays? Do I go to my bio families for the holidays? Do I spend that time with friends? Who exactly and where exactly do I go? So for the first tip, don't go anywhere that's going to trigger you. Yes, I said it. Do not go anywhere that is going to trigger you emotionally. If you know that there are certain places or certain people that you haven't quite gotten to a place emotionally where you can handle and deal with certain types of situations that may arise during the holiday season, don't go. Okay? Save yourself some heartache, save yourself some trouble, and make sure that you are not going to places that's going to trigger you. Tip number 2, make sure that you go somewhere, right? So reach out to a family member or a friend or a coach or a mentor or anybody in your circle who you feel comfortable with to make sure you have somewhere to go for the holiday season, okay? I think personally everybody should have at least one person in their circle that they can call up and say, hey, and reach out to. Tip number 3. This is the dreaded tip, okay? Do not, and I'll repeat, do not spend the holidays alone if it can be avoided. Some people have certain situations and circumstances that merits them being alone for the holidays. I understand, and we'll get to that in a moment. But do not spend the holidays alone. One of the things that happens, and I can speak from personal experience, but one of the things that happens during the holidays when you are alone and you've had that experience of being separated from your family, your mind just plays a whole lot of games on you. And you begin to think over and over and replay memories and have these thoughts over and over. And what it does to you is that it can make you sad. It can make you have feelings of depression. You can have feelings of anger or experience emotions of frustration. And it can stir up some things that you may not necessarily want to stir up. And if you're alone, who in the world will you talk to about it, okay? You may not necessarily have an avenue to get that stuff out. So make sure, if it can be avoided, do not spend the holidays alone. Speaking from personal experience, that is not fun. And the last tip, this is kind of a dreaded last tip, but the last tip, number 4, for avoiding the holiday blues if you've experienced the foster care system at some point of your life, and I say this with caution, if you have to spend the holidays alone for whatever reason, maybe you have no one to connect to, maybe you live out of state from your family, or there's a great distance in between, maybe your friends or mentors or whomever is unavailable, regardless of what the situation may be, if you must spend the holidays alone, do something fun. Okay? Go to the movies if that's your thing. Cook a meal for yourself if that's the thing. If you have a shopping area that's close to you, go and buy yourself something. Whatever represents fun for you, maybe it's reading a book, whatever it is, do something fun. Because remember, if you're alone on the holidays, you could put yourself in a position where you may open the door of those feelings of sadness and those thoughts of anguish and anger and frustration, right? So if you must spend the holidays alone, make sure you're doing something fun just to kind of take your mind off of the things regarding your family and how things used to be or whatever the case may be, because everybody is different. So, as a last wrap up, I understand from experience that the holidays are very, very difficult once you've experienced the system. You can avoid the holiday blues by following these 4 tips that I mentioned. Do you have any other suggestions for things that you can do? Post them in the comment section. But outside of that, thank you so much for watching my blog, and have a great, and when I say great, I mean it with every sense of the word, have a great and blessed holiday season. Remember, family issues are only a mountain, but mountains can be moved. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.